everybody, and welcome in as Cricket presents The Warm-Up. I'm Neil Beasley, but that is Professor Diggs, and we're here to talk all things Texas high school football. We've got some great games, as you can imagine, because we're coming down to it. This is the lineup, 3 games that you need to know about. And Diggsy, the first one, Highland Park, Frisco Lone Star. Highland Park always seems to win. Now, they got beat very first game of the year this year, but they've been rolling ever since, and they beat Lone Star last year in 2024. What do you see this year?
They did, and I think it's going to happen again. A couple of factors. First of all, with Lone Star, I really think the loss of Ryder Mix, the all-star tight end, is going to be huge. They got the big 3 with Trey Wright, Carice Hoyt, and Davian Gross, and you can do a lot of things with that, and I think that's going to keep them in every single game this year, including this one. But I have found, especially when you look at that Frisco-Reedy game, the key for Highland Park is going to make Trey Wright beat you. He's a sophomore. He's super talented, but if he's got to make key decisions, is that sophomore mentality going to be enough for Frisco Lone Star? I've got questions on that. Frisco-Reedy kind of exposed that. I expect Highland Park to do the same. And with Highland Park, when you got Buck Randall, just like with those big 3, you're in every game. And Highland Park's got their own big 3. They got Matthew White, Harrison Cullum, and Cannon Bozeman. I think forcing Trey Wright into making decisions is where Highland Park is going to shine. Give me the Scotties by a score.
Got another great one in the lineup here. Denton Ryan and Aledo had a thriller earlier this year, so now we get the rematch.
I gave you a crazy statistic a couple of weeks ago, Neil, and I'm going to give you another one. Aledo has never beaten Denton Ryan in the playoffs.
That's a wow stat.
That's 0-3 against them, and this is a team that's won 12 state championships in the last 25 years. They've never beaten Denton Ryan, but I think about Lincoln Tubbs. Ever since they went to him as the full-time quarterback, they have been fantastic. Everything has been upgraded by 3 or 4 scores. The key with Denton Ryan is going to be Trayvon Reynolds. When he can cut a big play on you, Denton Ryan's got every single chance. They held Jayshon Gibson to only 32 yards for Richland last week, but they had 13 penalties and 113 yards, so I worry about that undisciplined play with Denton Ryan. But with Aledo, it's going to be low scoring. It's going to be a fight. I think Aledo is going to limit those big plays. It's going to be a slugfest. I like Aledo like 20-13.
And then we've got another one that was another barn burner earlier in the year, Duncanville and Wax. And Wax won it by, I think it was 1 point earlier this year. So how do you see that rematch?
Yeah, Waxahachie won 28-27, and it is fueling Duncanville. Duncanville got their lick back against DeSoto, who got their lick back against Waxahachie, which created that 3-way tie for first place in that district. And this is going to be the one that determines who goes to the state semifinals. Waxahachie was very fortunate to get by Cy Ranch, and I was actually surprised that Cy Ranch was physical and able to run on Waxahachie. They did have a couple of big plays, but Cy Ranch ended up with 23 carries and 206 yards. If they give up that kind of running to Duncanville, Duncanville is going to have a huge day, especially since they are rotating multiple running backs. They're going to have Ison Theus, Trenton Yancey, Braden Arnold, among a cadre of running backs who can move the ball for Duncanville. Waxahachie had 2 turnovers. They probably should have had 3 against Cy Ranch. You cannot have turnovers against Duncanville. And when I kind of break it down, Duncanville held Klein Collins to only 51 yards rushing on 31 carries. They held Rockwell Heath 2 weeks ago to only 38 yards rushing on 27 carries. If they can't move the ball, if Waxahachie can't move the ball running, that's going to put a lot of pressure on Jerry Meyer to be perfect. And with that secondary with Duncanville, I think that could be a big problem. I think Duncanville is going to come back and win this game by a couple of scores.
All right, it's time now to get our insider information. Each week, our Ward Fasold goes inside with a coach around the area. This week, it's Casey Walraven from Alvarado. They always go deep in the playoffs. This is our Media Day segment.
The warm-up is presented by Cricket. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Cricket 5G speeds, but ping pong.
What? Your favorite burger whenever you want it. Whataburger is open 24/7, just like you like it. Parker University. Check out our bachelor's degree in strength and human performance today.
All right, guys, that's right. I'm joined with Alvarado head coach Casey Walraven. And Coach, you had the 5 games in the non-district. 4 of them you got to play with wins. You get into district play, you give up, 2 touchdowns maybe in district play, move on. Nice little beautiful story by Carter Riverside. You're like, I don't care about that story. Here's 77 for you. And then you get some real nice ones with Sulphur Springs in Springtown to prove that you can knock off some really big dogs. How do you like the way this team is playing? Because there's not a blemish on that record.
Yeah, I couldn't be more proud of our kids and coaches. I mean, a lot of work and effort has gone into this success, and we're blessed to see, the success part of it pay off. And it's things got to come together, and you got to hit your stride at the right time, and we feel like we're doing that. And again, it goes back to all the work we've put in and what we believe in ourselves.
We sent our guy out to you guys preseason, and we did a bunch of interviews, and I must have forgotten what DeMarcus Belton looked like without a helmet, because I swear he looks like he's 15 years old. Talk to me about how crucial that guy is for your offense and how he just gets things going.
Special player. We've been extremely blessed to back-to-back years, with Cartier last year, and DeMarcus had a great year last year too, but he is really emerged as one of the elite players in the state of all levels. And the things he's been able to do statistically on the field with 1,300 yards receiving and rushing both in each category, and all the touchdowns he's had. But everyone sees that part. The part we get to see is how much fun he's around to be around, and the life and energy he brings to the team, and the kind of person he is. So elite player, elite person, and we're glad he's on our team.
We talk about all the great things that you've done this year, but we're right at the same spot we were last year. We're going into Salina. I say we, being Alvarado, going into the Salina game. This time, Salina, the QB is a little bit banged up. We don't even know if he's playing at this moment when we're doing this interview. But I think you feel the same way. You're going to score your points. How do you feel? What do you feel your defense needs to do to stop those Bobcats from putting points on the board?
I think we just got to continue to do what has made us successful all year, and let the coaches scheme things up, and our kids be disciplined enough to rep those out over and over again. And then if we need to adjust in the game, we make quick adjustments, and the kids respond to that. That's the base part of it. The essential part of it is how we fly around and how physical and aggressive we play. And without that, schemes, they don't work. You got to have kids to execute them and go out with, especially on that side of the ball, with some physicality and just some a defensive demeanor, and they've got that.
Well, this is going to be an awesome one this week over at Newsom. December football, that's your goal, and you're back at it again. So good luck, Coach, and we will see you down the line.
Thank y'all. We appreciate it.
The warm-up is presented by Cricket. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Cricket has jaw-dropping new unlimited plans.
The warm-up is brought to you by the East-West Shrine Bowl. Greatness starts here. January 27th at the Ford Center at the Star. A century-old tradition and the first step to NFL stardom. Visit shrinebowl.com for tickets. Discover what happens when rugged capability meets true performance. Kia, movement that inspires.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. Time now for the agenda. 3 more games that you need to know about this week, and they're good ones, as usual, we always get this time of year as we start getting in December. North Crowley and Allen, and this is another one of those games where it wasn't earlier this year, it was last year in the playoffs. North Crowley beat Allen pretty bad last year in the playoffs, so what do you see this year?
And even this year, they did scrimmage each other, and a lot of the takeaways from the Allen fans was that North Crowley absolutely dominated Allen on both sides of the line of scrimmage. And I think that really motivated Allen to kind of get into the hot start, because they did not like that feeling of getting dominated, and I think they definitely got better from that. But even now, when I kind of look at the offensive line and the defensive line and the infrastructure is what I like to call it, I think North Crowley has a significant advantage. This past week against Coppell, North Crowley had 19 penalties. They can't do that. And they had 4 turnovers, but they also had 593 yards, and they still beat Coppell by 4 scores. They beat them by 25. I think what North Crowley is going to do is kind of a theme. What we're seeing here is that with that infrastructure, they're going to force Jeremiah Dowd to make plays, and I think he works best when he's like a Trent Dilfer, kind of a distribute the ball instead of having to be the guy that all the pressure is on. And I think when North Crowley does that, I think this week they're going to play a lot more disciplined play. I don't think we're going to see the penalties and the turnovers that they had against Coppell. And I think with that end, we're going to see a similar result to last year. I think North Crowley's going to win this game by a couple of scores.
All right, next up, Melissa didn't even make the playoffs last year, but boy, they are rolling this year. But boy, a tough test with Argyle this week.
Yeah, and Brett Holloway was fantastic against Anna in that 49-7 blowout. He accounted for 455 yards and 5 touchdowns. But when I was looking at the box score, who was there to help him? Nobody was there to help him. He's going to need a little help if they're going to beat a team like Argyle that makes it to this regional finals and beyond year after year after year. And Argyle, they've got that help. They got Rexroth, Bruce, Bell, Gasperson, Caldwell, Bradenbach. I mean, they are loaded and they are deep. And I think if it's just the Brett Holloway show against Argyle, Argyle's going to win big. But Melissa, I think they might have a player or two step up. In the last couple of weeks, if you look at kind of who they've played, Argyle beat Walnut Grove by 17. Melissa lost to Walnut Grove by 3. And then you look at the Lovejoy comparison. Melissa beat Lovejoy by 35. Argyle beat them by 56. All of the calibrations point to Argyle winning this game by a couple of scores, and that's assuming they get Brett Holloway for 4 quarters. If they only get him for 2, it's going to be worse. Give me Argyle.
All right, we've got another game that was an earlier this year rematch, Paradise and Peaster. Paradise won earlier this year. Peaster looking for revenge in the playoffs.
They are looking for revenge, and I think they're going to get it. This is one of the rare games. We've talked about offenses and all the big numbers. This is a defensive festival. In the playoffs so far through 3 games, Peaster's only given up 6 points in the playoffs. Paradise has only given up 14 points. It is going to be a low-scoring game, and that kind of checks with how the game was earlier. The game earlier was 21-15 earlier in the season. Paradise won that game, but they got a pivotal defensive score in that game, which was a little bit flukish. But they earned it, and they won that game, but I think Peaster is going to get their lick back. Luke Gray is phenomenal at quarterback for Peaster. Hudson Salyers is a great running back, but Paradise has got Aiden Oladi. He kind of reminds me of Austin Iglesias from a couple of years ago. Luke Brown is an incredible running back. It is going to be a low-scoring dogfight. I don't think Peaster is going to make the mistakes they made in the first round. Give me Peaster by a score.
Man, it's fun. Love this time of year for sure. Put on a jacket and go enjoy some football. Professor, enjoy your games this weekend. Everybody out there, enjoy your games. And as usual, join us right back here again next week as Cricket presents the warm-up. We leave you as usual with the DFW area rankings from our own Professor with the teams that are still alive and fighting for a title. We'll see you next week, everybody.